All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. We've got another game of Sudoku. Let's see what we have. A medium puzzle. Now, medium puzzles for me are always weird. And the reason I say that is sometimes I find them more difficult than the hards and the very hards. I don't know what it is about the medium puzzles. They seem to stump me. But let's have some fun with it, shall we? I see these cool little alleys, right? So I like these alleys. These alleys go up and down. There's these two little alleys here and here. These, again, this is computer generated, so it has some really cool symmetry in a 360. So this cube is completely empty. This cube is completely empty. Very curious. So let's look at these alleys here for just a moment. I have a 9 and a 3 that come up this way. I've got a 9, but I don't have a 3 yet. So let me jot these 3's in. Now I have an 8 and a 2 that come through this alley. I have a 2, but I have an 8 here and an 8 down this alley, so that's the only place left for an 8. Okay, so we got one number there. All right, now this here, I've got a 9 that comes up, and I have a 9 that comes through this thread. So one of these two has to be my 9. All right, I do have an 8, but this 2 comes down, and this 2 comes through here. So my 2 has to be here or here. You see that these alleys are working really good to kind of give some dimension to it here. Okay. All right, now if I'm looking in this little pocket here, I have an 8 and a 6. Well, I already have a 6, but this 8, I don't have an 8 in this cube. Okay, and I have nothing to come up the left side to help me. Let's see what I have over here. In this little pocket, I have a 1 and an 8. Now we have our 1. Now this 8 comes down and this 8 comes across, so I only have one spot for my 8. So that is nice. All right, so I've got 3 numbers left here. I got a 1. I need a 2. Well, this 2 comes across and helps me out. 3, 4, 5. And then I need a 6 and a 7. There we go. So this cube is all written up nice and neat for us. Okay, 9, 8. Now I have a 7 that comes here, and I have a ghost row 7 that comes through here. So my 7 has to go like this. Now I need a 6. Now this 6 comes down, and this ghost 6. Ooh, cool. Okay, so now these two are double locked. They have to be 6's and 7's. They cannot be anything else. So the only 2 numbers that are left get to go here. Now I do see some 6's. Here's a ghost row 6 that comes up. Here's a solid 6, and here's a 6 across the bottom. So we have to have a 6 here. Now if I'm looking at this cube, 9, 8, 7, 6, I need a 5 still. 4, 3, 2, and I need a 1. So these two can only be 1's and 5's. That's what they have to be. That's the only thing there. Those are double locked. I like locking cells because they can't be anything else. All right, now if I look vertically, I see that I'm missing 2 numbers left in this column. I know I'm still missing a 1 and a 5. All right, and then I'm missing, it looks like a 3. So I cannot have a 3 here. Okay, but I can here, and then these two look like either one can be 1's and 5's. So let me just leave that for now. I try not to mark it unless I only have 2. So let's leave that for just a moment. I'm letting my eyeballs skitter all over the place. I see a 2 that comes across here. So I have to have a 2 over here. So I've got my 9. I've got my 8 is in one of these 2 spots. I need a 7. Well, this 7 comes across the middle. So our 7 has to be in the bottom. 6, 5, 4, 3. We got our 2 marked. Now 1 can go anywhere. So we'll leave that be for just a moment. All right, okay. Now we got a lot of numbers up here. I'm curious, like see we have a pair of nines across the top and across the middle, and then we have a 9 left and center. So the only place left for a 9 is right there. Got a pair of 8s left and right, and then an 8 across the top. So our 8 has to go down here. All right, we only have, it looks like this is our only solid 7 in the game so far. So there's not a whole lot of help over here for the 7s. That's okay. Okay, I've got 2 6s. I haven't done all the pairs yet, but it goes across the top and the middle. So our 6 has to go down here. No help up here in the top. Okay, I've got a pair of 5s that go up the center and the right, and then a 5 across the top. So our 5 has to go down here somewhere. All right. We've got a 4 that comes up the middle and a 4 that comes across the top. We still have 3 spots for the 4, so I'm not going to mark it just yet. 3 looks like it's in the same boat. 3 across the top, 3 up the center. Does that lock them? Let's look at that for just a moment. So I got this 3 and 4, and a 3 and 4 that can't go across here. So let me write that in here. 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4. So does that lock those 3 cells? Let me double check here. So if this is a 5, then this is a 3 and a 4. If this is a 5, this is a 3 and a 4. So one of these two have to be a 5, right? So that means the other one is going to be a 3 and a 4, and this is going to be a 3 and a 4. So that means those have to be triple locked. Normally with a triple lock, I've had it where all 3 numbers, like if this was a 3, 4, 5 and this was a 3, 4, 5, then that would be triple locked. But I've not had a triple lock with only 2 numbers. This one's a little bit unique. So it has to be those 3 cells, cannot be anything else. If this has got to be a 3 or a 4, which is going to be the other one here where the 5, no matter what we do, it cannot be anything else. Because if this cell was any other number, that means one of these would have to be a 3 and a 4, then there would be no spot for the 5. 5 has to go here, so the other 3 and 4 have to go here and whatever's left. So these 3 are now triple locked. So that's good. That's good. So now see I have this pair of 1s. They'll come up and they'll come up, but it can't go here because of that lock, which forces my 1 to go here to fit for the columns. So locking cells are great because they force numbers you wouldn't normally be able to force. Okay, so that's good. So we have our 9, we have our 8. So 7 comes across. Okay, now 7 can't go here, so the only way to get a 7 in this top row is to go in one of these 2 spots. Because we have a solid 7 and a ghost row 7, so it has to go up there. Let's see about our 6s. Is there any help on the 6? We still have 3 spots for our 6s. We have our 5, our 4s, and our 3s all marked. What about 2s? So I have a solid 2 across the bottom. I have a ghost row 2 through the middle, and I have a solid 2 up the left. So this is actually the only spot a 2 will fit in this cube, which makes this one our 7, which now means this row 6 is the only way that that'll fit right there. So folks, this is new. I haven't run into one of these before, and give it a medium puzzle to give us that, which is great. So locking cells are very important. If you can find this pattern, it really forces a lot of information where we wouldn't have gotten that any other way. So very good to know. Very good to know. Okay, so now we're chugging along here. We're throwing some numbers. So now the only other number that's missing has to go here with this guy, which is our 6, which this 6 comes across and says it can't be here. So there's our 6, and there's our 8. Now this 6 is going to come down and help us. One of these two is a 6. Well, it has to go here now. Now this 6 helps us with this one, 7 and a 6. Now we just have one number here vertically missing. 9, 8, looks like a 7. Okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now this cube only has 3 numbers missing, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Now we need a 4. Now that could see we have got a 3, so it could be anywhere. We need a 3, that can be anywhere, and we need a 2. Now I do have a 2 that comes up and a 2 that comes across. So our 2 has to go here. Now this has to become then our 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. And that looks good. Now this 2 comes across and helps us. This can no longer be a 2, so we just have one spot left. All right. There we go. We got 3 numbers. Anytime I've only got 3 numbers, I like to stop and figure them out. They give us a lot of information. Sometimes they'll just help solve them themselves. So let's see. We've got a 1. We've got a 2. We need a 3. Now a 3 can go all those spaces. We need a 4. Now a 4 cannot go here. And see, we've got pairs. Now that we've filled out this bottom cube, we should be able to get a whole bunch of numbers here, just like we did here. It's symmetrical. That's the beauty of the of the 360 symmetry. When you follow up on one cube, you should be able to see the other side. So here's a pair of 4s, and then we have a 4 down the right side. So we can only have 2 spots. No 4 across the top, no 4 across the bottom, no 4 down the right side. Okay, now let's look at our 9s. We have a pair of 9s that follow that same pattern. Across the top, across the bottom, and we have a 9 that comes right down the center. Okay, so our 9 has to be left or right. We have a pair of 8s, top and middle, and then we have an 8 down the right side and a ghost row. See these ghost rows? One of these two has to be an 8. Means we cannot have an 8 down here, so this is actually the only spot left for an 8. All right, not a lot of help on the 7s. Okay, and now I've got 3 this direction, so we can sort those. What's that look like? A 1, a 4, and a 7. Yep, a 1, a 4, and a 7. So we'll come back and sort those out. Let's see. We've got a pair of 6s that come down the center and the right, and we have a 6 that comes across the middle. So we only have 2 spots for our 6s. We have a 5 that comes down the left side, a 5 down the center, 5 down the bottom. So our 5 has to go here. We've got our 4 marked out. What about 3s? We got a pair of 3s across the bottom and the middle, and we have a 3 that comes down the middle. So our 3 has to be one of those guys. We have a pair of 2s that come across the top and the middle. So our 2 has to be across the bottom here somewhere. And then we need a 1. Not a whole lot of things stopping the 1 from being there. Okay, so they didn't give up a whole lot, did they? Boopity boop boop. Lots of 7 choices still. Okay, so let's just keep looking at it. Let's not get too overwhelmed. Let me look at this particular cube. We got our 9, we got our 8. I'm kind of looking at all 3 of these middle ones together here. 9, 9, 9, 9. Okay. We have all 3 of our 8s. We have a 7 across the bottom. We have a ghost row 7 across the left. 7 down the middle. So our 7 has to go here somewhere. Okay. Got all 3 of our 6s. We've got some 5s. So our 5 has to be in the middle here somewhere. 4s. Okay. Not a ton of help on the 4s. 3s, 2s. Got all of our 2s. 1s. Not a big help on there. All right, so I'm getting to the point where I think I'm going to need to start just marking out all the cubes. We've got this cube all marked out. We've got this one marked out. This one's all solved. This one's all marked out. I've been kind of holding back a little bit, which I think I'm just going to have to start going for it. Let's take a look at this guy because it's missing the most set of numbers, I think. All right, we've got our 9, we've got our 8, we've got our 7s, we've got our 6s. We have a 5 across the bottom and across the top. So 5, 5, 5. All right, now our 4 can come up the middle, but 4 can still be everywhere else. Ooh, this is where it's going to get ugly. Let me throw 4s everywhere. Now 3s can't be in this right lane, but 3s can be everywhere else, so that's going to get even more crowded here. And then we've got our 2s, and then we have a 1 across the bottom, but 1s can go everywhere else. Ooh, too many numbers. Do not like it. 9, 8, 7, 6. All right, any help on the 5s here? 5s, 5s, 5s. Looks like 5s can go everywhere up here. All right, 4s. We have a 4 up the center. No help anywhere else, so 4s can go here. Looks like we have our 3 already marked. Oh, hey, oh, I was going to double lock, but nope, there's my 2s already sorted. And then we need a 1, so I'm looking here left and right. There's nothing to stop 1s from going everywhere. All right, 1s, 1s, 1s. 1s go all over. All right, 9, we've got our 8, we've got our 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We've got our 2s. Now again, our 1s can just go all over. We'll just spill them out of the bag. Everywhere they fall, they go. Okay, all right, we're getting close. I think we just have these 2 cubes left. All right, so if we look at 9s, I have a 9 that comes through the center and a 9 that comes through the middle. So I have 3 spaces that could still have a 9. We have our 8. We have our 7 that comes across the bottom. So 7 can go any one of those spots. 6, 5. Any help on the 4s? We can't have a 4 in the right lane. Okay, but 4s can go everywhere else. 3s. Okay, 3s can't go in the center, but they can go everywhere else. 2, and then 1s are across the bottom. 1s. I was looking to see if we were lucky enough to get another triple lock. That would be kind of neat. I don't think that's going to happen though. Okay. All right, last cubes down here. We have our 9 marked out. 8. Now 7 can't come across the middle. But 7 can go everywhere else. Okay, we have a 6 that goes through the, okay, so our 6 is marked over here. All right, and then we have our 5 marked over here. And then we have our 4 marked over here. Then we have our 3 marked over here. And then our 2 is marked down here. And then the 1 is the last one, and it can't be across the bottom, but it can be everywhere else. Ooh, yucky. Yucky, yucky, yucky. So now that we have the mess, now I have to sort through the mess and see if I can make some madness out of it. All right, so let's see what we got. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to find like a double lock. Okay, so I'm seeing this 8 and one of these two was an 8. So see, I just did not catch my pencil mark. See this 8 that comes over here? So this one has to become our 8. All right, and then I'm going to take my 8 out of here. Now what that does is these two are now double locked. They have to be 1s and 7s. So this one can no longer be a 1 because that would break the puzzle here. So this is the only spot left for a 2. All right, so now this one may start to see the dominoes. So just because I missed that one number, where we probably could have saved a lot of writing, but that's okay. That's a good reason to make sure you do some good pencil marks. So if this is a 2, this can no longer be a 2, so that it has to be a 7. All right, now one of these two was a 2, so this one now has to be a 2. Now, when I change this, of course, my 7 is going to disappear, and my 6 is going to disappear. And if I'm paying attention to my notes here, one of these two had to be a 6. So I'm going to change this to a 2, which makes this one into a 6. But see, these 1s, 3s, and 7s are going to disappear. So one of these two was my 3. This is why I don't like it having so many numbers, because it's hard to remember where those pairs came in. So this one has to become a 3 now. Now one of these two was a 5, and you see there's no more 5s left. So this becomes a 5. Now one of these two was a 9. One of these two was a 4. And now that we already have our 7, this one becomes our 1. So it was, yeah, I just did not notice that one pencil, and that's okay. So we'll just take our time. Now this is going to dominoes up this way. This 7 is going to come up and dominoes up this way. The 7 is going to come over here. So if that's our 7, there's a 6. If that's our 6, there's our 7. So now we have our 6 and our 7. Now if this is a 1, that makes this one a 5. If that's a 5, there's our 1. So now it's important to keep up the pencil marks, or I'm going to get myself confused. So if there's a 5, I'm going to take these 5s out. Now here's a 1. So I'm going to take this one, this one, this one out. Okay, just trying to keep up with the marks here just a smidge. Okay, if this is a 7, this one's a 1. If that's a 1, this one is a 7. Okay, so I've got a 3 and a 9, but we got the 3 here, so this one becomes a 9. Okay, so we've got one number here. We've got our 1 and our 4, so this one becomes a 7. So you see how there's all these numbers in here that we don't need anymore? So we don't need a 9, so let's get rid of the 9. Okay, we don't need a 7 because we have a 7. Now 1, 3, and 4, we still need 1, 3, and 4. Okay, well I don't need a 7 here. Okay, now I've got my 9, so I can get rid of my 9. So see, I cleaned that up. I didn't overdo it. I got to be careful not to remove the numbers I still need. Okay, so 3s and 4s, those are nice and clean. All right, very good. Okay, all right, so now let's just keep looking because I know I've marked some other numbers. I just have to be careful. So see this 1 here, if that's a 1 and a 3, that now becomes my 3. All right, now if this is a 1, one of these two is a 1. Well, this is the only one left to be a 1. Okay, so now I can get rid of my 1 here, and I can get rid of my 3 here. So those two are nice and clean. They're both 4s and 5s. All right, so there's no more 3 here. Okay, so let's just cleaning it up a little bit. So I still have my 3 up here. That's nice and neat and clean. Okay, so I'm noticing that my 7, one of these two were a 7, so it can't be here anymore. So we'll update that, and I'll get rid of my 7 here. Just doing little steps. Don't get too carried away. So there's my 1, so this one becomes a 4. If that's a 4, that one becomes a 3. If that's a 3, that becomes a 4. If that's a 4, that becomes a 3. So I can get rid of my 3 here. So I got 4s and 5s, just nice and neat and clean. Don't overdo it too quick. All right. So I've got a 4 here. So let me get rid of my 4 here and 4 here. All right. Now I've got a 3 here. So that makes this one my 9. Makes this one my 1. Okay. All right. So I'm just going around the loop here. Just try not to go too quick. I've got a 3. So that makes this one my 1. Okay. This is the only one left that can be a 5. All right, I've got a 3 here, so that makes this one, or a 4, pardon me, so that makes that my 3. That's a 3, so that makes this my 4. I've got a 1 and a 4, so the only one left here to be is a 3. All right, I've got a 4. There's my 5. If that's a 5, that's my 4. If that's a 4, that's a 5. If that's a 5, that is a 4. So there you have it, folks. Medium puzzle. It was an interesting triple lock in there with not using all 3 numbers in all 3 spots. But it's very important to catch those patterns that can force to reveal them, and then keeping up with the notes. I missed a note, a number that I had written down, and I just didn't see it, and that's okay. We just keep keep good notes written down, and sometimes that's where I get to the point where I know I'm missing it, so I'll write it all out, and then I'll take time and I'll look at them all again a couple times until I see it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Always recommend pausing it at the beginning, print you off a couple copies, play along with. As always, I do welcome any comments, suggestions, or challenges. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll catch you next time.